morning, church, and welcome to our online service. It's so lovely to have you join us this morning. Now, as it is our all-age service, don't forget to have your drink, thank you very much, and to have a biscuit as well or something to eat, because we're going to have a great time talking about autumn. And Ellie will be leading our service this morning along with the youth. So please do join in with us. God bless you, and may you have a great time. Let's get into our service. Over to you, Ellie.
I don't know how you feel about autumn. My mother used to say it was her favourite season. And there are a lot of wonderful things about autumn. The colours on the trees, the squirrels. I was in Beddington Park yesterday, tripping over squirrels, racing around, trying to find food to fatten up, to keep them going through the lean months of winter. There are pumpkins and fireworks. But if you're like me, and you don't like the cold, then autumn signals a time of darkness and cold, when there are no flowers and we have to stay indoors. The current COVID season can feel a bit like that. There are so many fears about what might happen, and so many things that we can't do and people that we can't see. But just as after winter comes spring, we know that. So after this season of COVID and danger and difficulty, we have to trust that there will come a spring for us as well. There are so many places in the Bible where we read about God's goodness and His love for us and His plans for us to flourish. But I'm just going to read you a couple of verses that I found the other day. It comes from Jeremiah chapter 9, verses 23 and 24. This is what the Lord says. Let not the wise boast of their wisdom, or the strong boast of their strength, or the rich boast of their riches. But let those who boast about this, that they understand and know me, that I am the Lord who exercises kindness, justice, and righteousness on earth. For in these I delight, declares the Lord. So I'm going to say to you now that we need to face this winter and this time of COVID with an absolute faith in the Lord, that He is a God who exercises kindness and justice and righteousness, and we can have hope in a new time.
Peace in my trouble. peace in the troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. My lighthouse, I will look for you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore.
Autumn scatters seeds that will bring new life in the spring, but we must hang on through the winter. The long nights and short days bear possibilities for seasons yet to come. Beneath the surface of the cold ground, there are amazing things going on, invisible to the human eye. We cannot know what the loss of a job, a broken relationship, or a shattered dream might bring forth. The daily dyings of autumn are essential for new life in the spring. God of the seasons, there is a time for everything. There is a time for dying and a time for rising. We need courage to enter into the transformation process. God of autumn, the trees are saying goodbye to their green, letting go of what has been. We too have our moments of surrender, with all their insecurity and risk. Help us to let go when we need to do so. God of fallen leaves, lying in coloured patterns on the ground. Our lives have their own patterns. As we see the patterns of our own growth, may we learn from them. God of misty days and harvest moon nights, there is always a dimension of mystery and wonder in our lives. We always need to recognize your power-filled presence. May we gain strength from this. God of harvest wagons and fields of ripened grain, many gifts of growth lie within the season of our surrender. We must wait for harvest in faith and hope. Grant us patience when we do not see the blessings. God of geese going south for another season, your wisdom enables us to know what needs to be left behind and what needs to be carried into the future. We yearn for insight and vision. God of flowers touched with frost and windows wearing white designs, may your love keep our hearts from growing cold in the empty seasons. God of life, you believe in us, you enrich us, you entrust us with the freedom to choose life. For all this, we are grateful. Amen. Right, girls and everybody at home, we're going to make chocolate conkers. And it could be a bit messy, so I recommend, like these two here, wearing aprons. And of course, I recommend that you wash your hands very carefully before you start. I hope you will have received the recipe. Very simple. What we just need is either Oreos or Bourbon biscuits, some full fat soft cheese, a bar of milk chocolate that you can melt to cover them, and some white chocolate buttons that we can use to make the little faces of the conkers. If we want to, we can use marzipan and create conker shells, but we'll see how we go. Okay. Right, how do we start? We start by you having a bag and you having a bag, and we put the biscuits in the bag and take a rolling pin and bash those biscuits until they are in very small crumbs. So let's just, oops. If you open your bag and hold it over the table so that I don't put biscuits on the floor, there we go. We have half in there. I think that's about half. And half biscuits for you. Woo. So you can have this one and you can have this one. So I'm going to close the bags. If you're doing this at home, you can just fold the biscuits into a clean tea towel and bash them that way, but this is a bit tidier. Okay, let's go for it. Let's bash those biscuits.
Biscuit.
Let's going to be very noisy.
Yeah,
Go for it.
very noisy.
You don't have to. Okay, so now that all your biscuits are reduced to crumbs, thank you Phoebe, demonstrate what that looks like. We're going to open up your cream cheese and I'm going to divide this between my two bakers. So you have that, and if I could have your bowl please Phoebe, you can have that one. I think this might go in here.
Yeah.
Right, this is just really to stick our biscuits together. So now you need to tip the crumbs carefully into the cream cheese, and using quite a big spoon you're going to mash the biscuits into the cream cheese until they form a sort of sticky lump, a bit like a mud pie. For anybody who used to make mud pies or still makes mud pies. Okay, so that's your spoon, off you go, get mashing. If I could just have your bowl a minute, please, Crystal. I'm just going to demonstrate a good technique for this is to use your spoon and to sort of press and mash, because this is how it presses the biscuit crumbs into, so it doesn't really work very well if you stir, but it works better if you press. Okay, off you go.
I think I had too many biscuit crumbs.
You have too many biscuit crumbs. You'll be surprised if you keep pushing and pushing. I thought that when I made a little trial batch earlier.
Smells really nice.
Okay, so now we have to make our conkers. So I suggest you take your teaspoon. I've given you 2 in case you need to scrape bits off, but scoop yourself a nice little lump of, that's right, yes, try, you can see what size, and then roll it lightly between the palms of your hands, not pressing too hard, but just round. And when you think you've got a nice round ball, pop it on the grease-proof paper here. And if you think those are perfect sizes, absolutely, well done. This is Bake Off, Eat Your Heart Out. Okay, so they don't have to be the same size because unlike Bake Off, we're being naturalistic here, and conkers come big ones, small ones, middle-sized ones, so that's absolutely fine. Let's see, we can have a race here, see how quickly we can make, there we are. I think at the moment Crystal's making small, delicate ones and Phoebe's making slightly bigger ones, that's cool. Okay, that's right, good, good. These are absolutely amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. One more each. Fantastic. And as you can see, they are surprisingly not too sticky. You can see now that we have a wonderful collection of big conkers, small conkers, middle-sized conkers, round conkers, lumpy conkers, in other words, just like real conkers. But these ones have to now go in the fridge. So also with super clean hands, we just pop these on the plate and put them in the fridge. And they will need to chill for about 2 hours in order to be nice and firm for when you cover them with chocolate. So I'm just going to pop those in the fridge and find some I made earlier. Right, Crystal is stirring some milk chocolate squares which will be melting in a bowl over a saucepan of water. This needs to be done quite gently and by a grown-up. There we go, they melt quite fast. So, ooh, do you think all the lumps have gone, Crystal?
There's some lumps.
There's some lumps? Well, we will turn off the heat and you can just stir really energetically, okay? Right.
This is some we made earlier.
Right, this is where it gets really messy because they're going to dip a conker into the melted chocolate. Go for it, girls. If it makes a mess, that doesn't really matter.
Woo!
Yes. Turn it over, use another spoon to turn it over, and when it's coated in chocolate, lift it out, let the excess drip off, and then just pop it onto your clean greaseproof paper. Just put it down, that's right. And then take a white chocolate button and press it on top. That's it.
No, it looks like a conker.
There we go. And those are going to be your conkers. They will take a while for the chocolate to harden, and then you can just scrape each individual one off with
Chocolate.
a knife. This smells so good. I'm not sure if I'm going to be allowed to eat any of them. But there's a bit of excess chocolate on there, Crystal. Perhaps try and scoop up less chocolate. That's it. That's it. Yep, perfect. Perfect. Oh. Okay, that's perfect. Oh. Okay, you can pop that one down there now.
Maybe there's excess.
There we go. And the white chocolate button.
Oh, there's so much excess. Now it really starting to look like conker.
If you want to put the icing on the cake, as it were, you could try rolling out some marzipan using some green food colouring. So you knead the marzipan with the food colouring and then roll it out, and then we take one of our nice trim off the excess chocolate. You could just eat it, for example, and then just make a little jacket for your conker, like so, and wrap it round. There we go.
Hello MLBC Church, this is Hannah here, coming from Bristol, just saying hello, giving you an update on my life in the coronavirus times. I'm just in my room at the moment, see nice decorations, Jacob's paintings, and yeah, hope everyone is doing well, staying safe. Yeah, for me at the moment, I've just been studying, keeping, on top of schoolwork. One of my topics is sociology of health and illness, so that's very interesting in these times. I'll show you what I wear to seminars. I wear a face mask, and then I also have to put a visor. Yeah. Yeah, so if we ever go into uni, we have to wear a visor and a face mask. And then obviously at home, I don't have to. There's 5 of us here at the moment. And then, yeah, we just, You know, we're all quite good at cooking. I make a good chicken and rice some days. And then, not really much to say. The other day I went to badminton, which was good. I might join that, but I also might do netball. I'm undecided. And then, not much is different in Bristol. I think the rates are quite low, but amongst students a bit higher. And then, me and Maya, my other flatmate, she is also a Baptist Christian, so we watch MLBC's church service every Sunday, and then we also watch her one as well. She's from North London. So I hope everyone's well. Nice to see you. Bye.
Good morning, church. This is an update on me getting on at Oxford. So I've been here for nearly 4 weeks now, 4 weeks on Saturday, and so far it's been a very enjoyable experience. Life as a student during these weird times is not exactly how I'd expect it to be, but the college and the university have made the most of the situation that has been given to us, and we are getting on very well. So the way it's working at St Anne's is we are put into household bubbles of 8, and we're basically being told not to mix outside of those bubbles, which may seem like a bad thing, but in my case I get on with everybody well in my household, so it hasn't been too much of an issue with regards to socialising, because we get on very well. So we do a lot of things together, and the college, at least during Freshers Week, they were very, very good at putting on lots of socially distanced events, so we could meet people from other households without risking transmitting the virus. But so far that's all going well. And workload at Oxford famously is a lot, and currently I haven't felt overwhelmed as of yet. I've been here, so I've had 3 weeks of teaching. This is my 3rd week of teaching actually, and we've already had 3 essays to do, and I've got another one due on Thursday, as well as various competition assignments because I'm doing music, and performance assignments as well. So at the moment the workload's all right, but that will likely change in a couple of weeks as we get further into the term. But so far everything's going very well. Thank you.
Good morning, church. I hope you're all doing well and are healthy. I'm currently at the University of Birmingham, studying psychology. Being at university this year is very different from what I'd always expected it to be like growing up. But nonetheless, I'm trying to make the most of my time here. All of my classes are on Zoom, so I don't have many opportunities to be on campus. I enjoy my course a lot, and university is so different from secondary school, because there is no one telling you what to do and how to do it, but I enjoy the independence. Socially, it's quite difficult to meet a lot of people because of the COVID restrictions. But I have become close with my flatmates. I'm enjoying this new experience. Naomi.
Hi church, I hope everyone is doing well at the moment. I've been asked to tell you all about how the pandemic has affected me and my friends over the last few months. So obviously when the lockdown first started, it was difficult, especially for people my age, as our GCSEs were cancelled, and we had to adjust to this, seeing as we've been preparing for these exams through our whole secondary school life. But we took advantage of the fact that we were given a break from all of the exam stress, and we were suddenly given time to focus on things that we hadn't had time to focus on before, whether that be a specific talent or skill, or our mental health or physical health, whatever. I took the time to mostly I did quite a bit of art, but yeah, it was a struggle not seeing friends for so long. But now, obviously, school is back in, and I hope it stays that way, as sixth form just started and it's going well, and it's really nice being able to see people again. Obviously, it's difficult as cases do pop up, and unfortunately, last week, the whole of year 13 was taken out of school, and we just want to be able to stay in so we can catch up on the work we've missed and get back into the routine of school. And obviously we get to see each other, like all of our friends again, and we want it to stay that way. But obviously this is a slow process and it takes time, and we just need prayers for the fact that we are having to do exams during this time, and it's quite difficult, seeing as it's quite easy to just be kept at home again. I had to stay at home for nearly 2 weeks after I'd only been in school for 1 week, so that was quite difficult, but I had to just catch up on the work. But we're all in the same boat, and hopefully this will just get sorted as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hi church, I just wanted to let you know how I was doing, especially during this pandemic. Obviously back in March I found out my GCSEs were cancelled, which was shocking news because I had spent 5 years preparing for them. But luckily I got my predicted grades, which were good enough to allow me to do the A-levels I wanted, which were psychology, photography, media and sociology. And so I've been back at school for 7 weeks now, and it is a lot. It's especially after having 6 months off, it is a lot of work, especially if it's A-level. There's no like going at a slow pace, there's so much content already, so it's just piling up. So during this half term I just had to spend a lot of time revising and doing homework and doing all that kind of stuff. COVID just really has just impacted my school life more than anything. My social life is still good. I'm still able to meet up with my friends, and obviously I see them in school anyway. So that is just school life that is just hard to deal with, the amount of work. So if you'd like to pray for me or other young people with schoolwork, especially with upcoming A-levels or mocks especially, that would be nice. And yeah, that's really it. Thank you so much.
4. News from the Barrels in Rampado, Mozambique. The Barrels' most recent newsletter says that Mark and their daughter Lizzie were finally able to return to Rampado in September after spending 5 months in the UK due to the pandemic. Susanna has had to stay in England waiting for a medical appointment which has been held up due to the COVID backlog. Lizzie did her GCSEs online in October, which wasn't all that easy. Mark and Susanna report that despite early frightening predictions about the impact of the virus in Africa, Mozambique has recorded just over 12,000 confirmed cases and 91 deaths. In contrast, malaria killed 365 people in the country, which in the first 6 months of this year, which with over 6 million cases confirmed. Mark says that during this time of the pandemic, the Association of Christian Lawyers, he works through the BMS, which has been seeing more clients than ever before in the Manpudo office. People who are poor and vulnerable and desperate for help. The families say that they feel blessed and they had somewhere to live throughout the time they were given in England, and that they were able to see family and friends, but they also felt frustration and guilty that they were away from their work in Mozambique. The things they have asked us to pray for are that Susanna's medical needs will be dealt with soon, protection from Mozambique and Africa generally from COVID-19, and prayer for the health system which battles with so many other diseases every day. Strength and stamina for the Christian lawyers and their team to cope with the huge workload and stay safe. Prayer for Mark and Susanna that they will have complete faith in God's power as they start this new season in their ministry.
News from our BMS mission partners in Thailand, Whit and Helen Boon Dikun. The latest news we have is from August, when Thailand had been free of coronavirus for 3 months. Cases are beginning to rise again now, but there have only been 236 cases in the last month, so nothing like as bad as Europe. Helen and Whit report that their little church is growing, and they now have 14 believers in total, 9 of whom regularly worship on Sundays and attend Bible study. They have a new leader called Fluck, who also helps them with the music and the children's work. He's training to be a football coach, so he can run football teams for the young people. They have just held a youth camp last week, but we have not yet had news of how that went. Helen has started English teaching at the local school again, and also teaches at the Mission Centre. She has students ranging from the age of 6 to 57. The basket weaving group is doing well, as is the sewing group, and they are managing to sell all the baskets and bags they make, which should give them a new source of income. The most exciting thing of all, they have built a community hall out of bamboo in front of their house, which is a wonderful place for people to meet and talk. One of the church ladies runs a stall selling chicken and rice and pancakes, which is very popular with the children and teenagers. These are the things they have asked us to pray for, that their church members grow in faith, that more people will come to know Jesus, and for good health, energy, enthusiasm for Helen and Whit, so that they can keep on doing the work God has put them there to do.
As our service draws to a close, I hope you've enjoyed seeing and hearing from some of our wonderful young people, catching up on news of our mission partners, and maybe getting messy making chocolate conkers. I'd like to invite you all, wherever you are, to pray for our young people, because it's such a tough time for them, with huge uncertainty over their studies, their exams, and what impact this is all going to have on their futures. Autumn is really advancing now. Since the clocks went back last weekend, the days have got shorter, the evenings darker, and certainly here in London the weather has been grey and wet. But the news is also grey, with warnings that there's going to be another national lockdown starting next week, with all the difficulties that brings. But we as Christians are not powerless in the face of this threat, because we have a powerful God who stands with us. And as we heard at the beginning in the verses from Jeremiah, he's a God who delights in kindness and justice and righteousness. So prayer is one of our strongest weapons against anxiety and fear. Through prayer, we enlist the help of our Creator, we connect with Christ on a deeper level, and we experience his power and strength at work in us. So I'm going to close in prayer, and I encourage you all to really invest in your prayer life in the weeks ahead and draw very close to our loving God. Dear Lord Jesus, we draw near to you now in our time of need, trusting in your love and your power to keep us from harm. We ask for wisdom for how to keep healthy and safe, and for strength to endure the different struggles which affect each one of us, whether that's to do with studying, working, caring, or isolation and loneliness. And we especially ask your blessing on our children and young people, that you will make a way for them to progress in their education, to socialize with their friends, and to look forward to a future full of good things. We ask these things in your precious name. Goodbye, church. Until we see each other again, take care and have a safe week.
Thank you for joining us today for our online service. Join us again next week for our communion online service, where we will also be having an act of remembrance. Bye.